Be the kind of person who catches the shit before it hits the fan, not the one who scrapes it off afterwards. Kindness is a language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. Life changes very quickly, in a very positive way, if you let it. Most of what matters in our lives takes place in our absence. You should never assume. You know what happens when you assume. You make an ass out of you and me because that's how it's spelled. Never hold tightly onto the past because it will only limit your ability to move forward. I think it's important to hold a mirror up to society and yourself. Every beginning has an end, and every end is a new beginning. No matter how many people give me advice, I am going to do what my heart tells me to do. Sometimes small things can become very large, indeed. As we go through life, we gradually discover who we are, but the more we discover, the more we lose ourselves. In this lifetime, you meet and part like passing clouds. Sisters in battle, I am shield and blade to you. As I breathe, your enemies will know no sanctuary. While I live, your cause is mine. We do not have to be mental health professionals to identify the traits of the possible sociopaths among us. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Then quit. No use being a damn fool about it. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it. There is no respectful way to deliver a truth, Peter Ojo. Advice is like snow. The softer it falls, the longer it dwells upon, and the deeper it sinks into the mind. It's never overreacting to ask for what you want and need. Nobody wants to believe that existence carries on without at least taking a stumble from their departure of this world. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create hard times. The one ironclad rule is that I have to try. I have to walk into my writing room and pick up my pen every weekday morning. My only advice is to stay aware, listen carefully, and yell for help if you need it. No matter what you're going through, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. The most important reason for going from one place to another is to see what's in between, and they took great pleasure in doing just that. There is no moment more precious than the exact moment you are living now. Nothing can disturb your peace of mind unless you allow it to. For those who believe, no proof is necessary. For those who don't believe, no proof is possible. There's no greater show on earth than observing human nature. Sed nescio quo modo nihil tam absurd dici potest quod non dicator ab aliquo filis forum. Always remember people who have helped you along the way, and don't forget to lift someone up. The glory of Christianity is to conquer by forgiveness. Do not despise your own place and hour. Every place is under the stars. Every place is the center of the world. The secret of life, though, is to fall 7 times and to get up 8 times. Grace doesn't depend on suffering to exist, but where there is suffering you will find grace in many facets and colors. Think continually about what you want, not about the things you fear. You have to realize that you are everything and more just on your own. The difference between greed and ambition is a greedy person desires things he isn't prepared to work for. But remember, boy, that a kind act can sometimes be as powerful as a sword. It was not the feeling of completeness I so needed, but the feeling of not being empty. You serve a greater cause. Your life is not yours to throw away. Forbearance in the face of fate, beauty constant under torture, are not merely passive. They're a positive achievement, an explicit triumph. Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness, and the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. In fact, the truth cannot be communicated until it is perceived. This was not a fairy tale. This was not the movies. This was life. It hurt more. It was excruciating. It was excruciatingly beautiful. We are saved by faith alone, but the faith that saves is never alone. A truth that's told with bad intent beats all the lies you can invent. People who keep stiff upper lips find that it's damn hard to smile. Failure is the condiment that gives success its flavor. Happiness is a choice that requires effort at times. There's so much to be grateful for, words are poor things. A need for revenge can burn long and hot, especially if every glance in a mirror reinforces it. Religious structure often dilutes the spiritual experience. Listen to me, Thorfinn. You have no enemies. No one has any enemies. There is no one that you should hurt. If beautiful lilies bloom in ugly waters, you too can blossom in ugly situations. Never worry a bit in life. Always be full of merriment. Man is but a reed, the most feeble thing in nature, but he is a thinking reed. How hurtful it can be to deny one's true self and live a life of lies just to appease others. Even in the loneliest moments, I have been there for myself. I want someone whose heart is big enough to hold me. Pagangtang Ganku, Tapi Jangon Turlila Arat, Karina Aku Injin Siring Dan Bukan Didgering. This thought strengthened in me my belief that all men, without exception, deserve to be pitied, if only because they are alive. All opinions are not equal. Some are a very great deal more robust, sophisticated, and well supported in logic and argument than others. Life swings like a pendulum backward and forward between pain and boredom. To live is to change, to acquire the words of a story, and that is the only celebration we mortals really know. From a certain point onward, there is no longer any turning back. Truth persuades by teaching, but does not teach by persuading. I saw a star. I reached for it. I missed, so I accepted the sky. The ways of fate are indeed hard to understand. If there is not some compensation hereafter, then the world is a cruel jest. Without man and his potential for moral progress, the whole of reality would be a mere wilderness, a thing in vain, and have no final purpose. You'd challenge me and lose. You know it, I know it, but you'd still do it. Sometimes your sense of honor confuses the hell out of me. You don't believe things because they make your life better. You believe them because they're true. If anyone on the verge of action should judge himself according to the outcome, he would never begin. Education is what they equip you with, just in case your dream doesn't work out. You must be the best judge of your own happiness. Sometimes people don't understand the promises they're making when they make them. Life is magical for those whose hearts are loving, minds are full with joy, and eyes that are dancing with beauty. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. I'm guilty of giving people more chances than they deserve, but when I'm done, I'm done. Don't judge your success by what people think of you. You are your own success. Your determination and perseverance is what matters. A dead thing can go with the stream, but only a living thing can go against it. Faith is believing in something you know isn't true. Truth is not something outside to be discovered, it is something inside to be realized. Writing is the spectrum through which the chaos of life can be seen, studied, and understood. If you feel obsessed to prove something to the world, then you'd need world attention to be able to prove it. A thing is not necessarily true because a man dies for it. I can't understand why people are frightened of new ideas. I'm frightened of the old ones. Find the things that matter, and hold on to them, and fight for them, and refuse to let them go. We can regard our life as a uselessly disturbing episode in the blissful repose of nothingness. It can only take a moment to waste the rest of your life. It's a sad day when you find out that it's not accident or time or fortune, but just yourself that kept things from you. A celibate clergy is an especially good idea because it tends to suppress any hereditary propensity toward fanaticism. It's good to do uncomfortable things. It's weight training for life. Success is not how high you have climbed, but how you make a positive difference to the world. Action springs not from thought, but from a readiness for responsibility. We all have negative thoughts now and then, but we can choose not to dwell there and not to let them control us. It's the people who never learn the word impossible who make history, because they're the ones who keep trying. We need to renew ourselves often. Even temples need renovation. We don't receive wisdom. We must discover it for ourselves after a journey that no one can take for us or spare us. You don't have to eat less. You just have to eat right.